Do I like Malcolm in the Middle? Yes. No. Maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Okay, that's a stupid joke, I know. But in all seriousness, I love this show. If I'm being honest, it's the 10th best show of all time in my opinion. Hint for some videos to come. Anyway, as an aspiring screenwriter, I thought it would be fun to deconstruct one of my favorite shows of all time and find out why it works so well. Malcolm in the Middle is a show about the Wilkersons, a lower middle class family with 5 rambunctious kids who constantly find themselves getting into trouble. Told from the perspective of their third child, Malcolm, a certified genius. I used to watch the show on the old-ass TV in my grandparents' house as a kid. I used to think nostalgia was the only reason why I loved this show so much, but after I rewatched the whole series on Netflix a few years ago, I realized how silly that was. That shit's hilarious. It's heartwarming, it's ridiculous, but it's so realistic, and most of all, it's cynical beyond belief. On a side note, it's a shame that Frankie Muniz, the star of the show, doesn't really remember this masterpiece because of memory loss issues he's had. You know, as hyperbolically wild as the Wilkersons family is, it never feels extremely out of the ordinary. I've observed many dysfunctional families. I used to think mine was insane. Then as a camp counselor, I realized how common crazy families really are. Seriously, parents in my camp, you can go fuck yourselves. Discipline your kids at home. Don't beat them, put them in timeout or something. I can always find myself relating to the concerns of every family member at one point or another. Francis, the oldest brother, acts out so his mother gives him attention. Reese is the insecure bully brother who can't let anyone in. Dewey is the one who always gets picked on. Hal is the irresponsible, well-meaning father. Lois is an overbearing but loving mother, etc. I left Malcolm out because I have a whole section for that bastard. These children will do anything to spite their parents, and the parents will do anything to control the boys. However, if you say they don't love each other, you either haven't watched enough of this show, or you've never loved anyone in your entire life. If you don't believe me, watch the episode Reese's Teacher. Oh, another thing? The episode names are extremely creative. Anyway, Reese needs to pass a test, or he'll be placed in the special classes. So Reese and Malcolm devise a scheme where Malcolm, a certified genius, remember, takes the test for him. The teacher still fails the test, even though every answer was correct. When the truth comes out, Lois confronts the teacher and he explains that this could get Malcolm kicked out of school. She doesn't care because she has complete confidence in Malcolm to succeed no matter what obstacles he faces. She knows that Reese, however, needs all the help he can get. This is a terrific example of why her character works so well. Her children are different and therefore need different treatment. She doesn't have a favorite, she just loves differently, like a real mother. Except for Frances, she hates Frances. Also, before I go on, Frances, Reese, and Malcolm clearly have an Oedipus complex the size of Texas. I was gonna write a whole essay explaining why this show was so fucking funny, but really the easiest and best way I can explain the magnitude of comedy of this show without playing one of the clips, because I don't know how to do that yet, is to describe one scene. In the Thanksgiving episode, Reese is cooking dinner and the timer on the turkey goes off. It needs to come out right now, but he can't find the oven mitts. So he does the only thing he can think of, because Reese is stupid. He takes it out without the oven mitts. He tells Piyama, Francis' wife, to clear some space. And he doesn't just tell her, he yells it. He's like, clear some space! And she's like, where? And he looks down at the table and he sees it. Move the oven mitts! I know I don't do this scene justice, but holy crap, I love that. Intelligence is like money. The haves generally do not appreciate it. The have-nots dream of having it, but since they don't, they resent the haves. A big theme in the show is exploring how that intelligence leads to isolation. And I'm not saying that the show claims that dumb people are only jealous of smart people, although I feel like that's definitely part of it. I'm also saying the show calls smart people pretentious pricks with sticks up their own asses. These ideas are embodied by Malcolm, the family genius who just wants to fit in. He desires so desperately for people to like him, but he often finds that instead of gravitating to his intelligence, it actually repels most of the general population. When you think about it, Malcolm's social life is so sad. His best friend Stevie also suffers from incredible intelligence disorder, but he's also an asthmatic paraplegic. His relationships never seem to last more than 2 episodes, at the very most, and he can't help but be obnoxious and sarcastic. It's not like he can really help how he is. When he tried being nicer to people, he ended up in the hospital. The more he tries to deny his true self, the more he suffers. By the way, I'm not saying I can relate by the way, because I'm pretty sure I'm dumb, but it's fun watching these themes and these situations play out. Maybe I should have stuck this with the dysfunctional family part, but I feel like it deserves its own section. While the family really battles with each other and you truly believe that they could kill each other at any moment, you never for a second doubt their love for each other. Realistically, this is what it's like being in a family. But the fact that the writers walk that line so elegantly is an incredible feat. While I feel like every character contributes to this, most of the heart comes from Hal, played brilliantly by Bryan Cranston. He feels like the perfect father for these boys. He's flawed, he's irresponsible, but he loves those boys more than anything. If you want a fantastic example of a heartwarming moment, just watch the episode where Reese and Malcolm think that the other one is gay, but too afraid to come out. While they're both awkward, they try to be as supportive as possible. You would expect them to use this as an opportunity to make the other one feel like shit, given their personalities, but they don't. They try their hardest to be there for one another. At its core, this show is about family. At that core, it's love. Growing up in this culture, we're constantly reminded how sweet and innocent children are. People get these rose-tinted glasses whenever they think about children. Well, let me tell you something as a camp counselor. Children are not innocent at all. They are demons from hell. They are violent, they are obnoxious, and they are walking, talking, breathing evidence of the benefits of abortions and Trojans. By the way, buy my children's book coming out October 1st. Malcolm in the Middle not only recognizes this fact, but encapsulates that. With the Wilkerson's boys' constant antics, the writers constantly remind the audience that children suck, something we all need to understand. Malcolm in the Middle, to me, is one of the greatest shows to ever grace TV. If you've never seen it, I highly suggest watching it. I watch it on YouTube with these episodes broken up by like 9 clips. Malcolm in the Middle explores the definition of familial love in a complex way most shows never even attempt, in such a seamless manner. However, if you have siblings, then you already understand the complicated relationships this show portrays. That's what makes it so relatable. It describes the resentment, the love, the embarrassment, the undying loyalty, the sum total of what it means to be a brother. Also, Walter White is clearly just grown-up Malcolm.